I like to get things done. Why put off till tomorrow what you can get done today? And I'm not the only one. It's our human nature to want to get to work on things we can get done. Tell me what to do, give me a checklist. We want advice framed in 3 simple steps. It's easy for our faith to tip almost immediately from grace received to this same urgency to get busy accomplishing things and proving ourselves. It comes with a big risk, though. A risk that our faith can become centered more on what we are doing for God than what Jesus has done for us. The consequences are that we lose something of that remarkable grace that can only be received by faith. But there's another equally dangerous risk. It is possible that our sense of grace can become cheap and disconnected from the way we live. James was concerned enough about this danger to write to his followers, warning them that the way we live as Christians matters. It's not about pitting faith and works against one another, but recognizing that where there is no real life change, there is always a misunderstanding of faith. James wrote, "So you see, faith by itself isn't enough. Unless it produces good deeds, it is dead and useless." Now, someone may argue, some people have faith, others have good deeds. But I say, how can you show me your faith if you don't have good deeds? I will show you my faith by my good deeds. I don't remember a lot about what the pastor said at my wedding, but there was one line I'll never forget. He was explaining how the commitment of marriage forever changes your priorities and motives. He explained, up until today, you've been asking, is this person right for me? But from this day forward, that question will be changed to how can I be right for this person? What he was explaining was the way marriage can change our identity, our motives, and the way we act. It's no surprise the Bible so frequently uses marriage as an analogy for salvation. When we receive Christ, everything about who we are is equally reworked. Our identity, our motives, and our action. We no longer ask what's best for us, but how can we be right for Him? Our motive for obedience is fundamentally changed. James believed that Christ had freed us to obey in ways that we couldn't before. James also wrote to his followers, "But don't just listen to God's word. You must do what it says. Otherwise, you are only fooling yourselves. If you look carefully into the perfect law that sets you free, and if you do what it says and don't forget what you heard, then God will bless you for doing it." What true faith does is free us to work in ways we couldn't before. A real experience of God's grace changes us. It frees us. It frees us to sacrifice things that we previously couldn't afford to. It frees us to risk things we previously thought we had to protect. Not only are our hearts moved to obey, but we find a new courage to. Our good deeds are not about proving ourselves. They're about proving the goodness of God and demonstrating our hope and confidence in Him. Faith and works belong together. We are saved by faith alone, but it is through obedience that we demonstrate to the world that we have been forever changed. We are a new creation, dead to sin and alive to righteousness. And James was finally right. To obey is not a curse or a burden, but a blessing. Difficult and often our emotions and desires lead us astray, but to live into the life He ordained and created for us is the greatest blessing of all. Listen.